welcome to the Max Breakdown, where we will be diving into sports news, sports cards, cultura, Dominican style with a twist. Please press like, subscribe, and share. Let's get this straight. To start off, let's get this straight. The Knicks are still the king of the East. LeBron James signing with Philly, it's cute, it's dramatic, it's cinematic, it's legacy talk. But let's be honest, the Knicks are the defending Eastern Conference champions. Point blank. The Knicks have the best duo in the conference. Point blank. The Knicks have the deepest roster. Point blank. The Knicks have the best culture. Point blank. The Knicks have the best coach. Point blank. Philly made noise. But the truth is that New York still makes fear. LeBron is about to be 42 years old. This is not prime LeBron. So this idea of, oh shit, LeBron James, listen, he's about to be 42. And what does it mean? Well, he's entering his 24th year, coming off a season where he had to pace himself. So basically, no longer a 38-minute monster. No longer the best player in a playoff series. No longer the guy who could carry a team for 82 games. Listen, no denying he's still brilliant. He still has elite IQ. And you know what? He's still dangerous. But he's not 2012 Miami LeBron. He is not 2016 Cleveland LeBron. And he's not even 2020 bubble LeBron. This version of LeBron James is a piece, not the engine. And the Knicks, they have engines. Point blank. The Knicks duo is better than Philly's trio. Let's compare the core. Let's compare. They have Jalen Brunson. They have Cat, who's a killer. They have OG Anunoby. Michael Bridges. I mean, you really can't even, you can't compare. The 76ers, a injury prone Joel Embiid who's basically, he has fallen to pieces. He's just falling into pieces. How much of Joel Embiid you're gonna get, who knows? Tyrese Maxey, a star, but he's not Brunson's level clutch. Jaylen Brown, he's great, but inconsistent. And LeBron James, 42, not prime. VJ Edgecombe, future star, not ready for war yet. Philly has names, New York has weapons. Philly has talent, New York has chemistry. Philly has potential. New York has proof. The Knicks match up better than anyone thinks. If you think about it, let's break down the matchup. When you have a guy like Cat against Embiid, that's easy. Cat is just built better, healthier, and you could depend on. So I take Cat every time. Then you have Brunson versus Maxi. Maxi is electric. Brunson is surgical. Brunson is the better closer. Brunson is the better leader. And Brunson is a better playoff player. You have OG versus Jalen Brown. OG is the exact type of defender Brown struggles with: length, discipline, strength, and no fear. Jalen Brown is 6'5". OG is 6'8", 6'9". This is not even. I mean, OG will shut him down real quick, real quick. It's a big time matchup problem for Jalen Brown. You know, and then you look at the bench. The bench is not even close. When you have a guy like McBride, when you have a guy like Josh Hart, you just then you also have Alvarado. Like there's just no comparing. There's just no comparing. That's just all I'm gonna say about that. LeBron's role in Philly helps them, but that doesn't elevate them above New York. LeBron James will be a facilitator, a connector, a veteran leader, a mismatch hunter, a transition weapon. Absolutely. LeBron James will be all that I just finished mentioning. No doubt about it. You're talking about a Hall of Famer, let's just say top 10, maybe better all time, right? So the dude could ball. But what he's not at this stage of his career, going into his 42nd birthday, is he is not the best player on his team anymore. And he won't be the best player in the series, nor the best closer, nor the best defender, nor the best athlete, nor the best engine. He's a luxury piece, not the foundation. The New York Knicks, the New York Knicks have foundations. The Knicks are built for May and June. Phillies is built for headlines. Philly is built for that buzz, for that hype, for that headline, for that billboard of LeBron James. Social media posts, storylines. But you know what? The Knicks are built for defense, physicality, half court execution, clutch moments, 7-game series, championship basketball. The Knicks didn't flinch when they faced Embiid. Didn't flinch. Didn't they? They actually swept them easy. They didn't flinch when they lost OG for weeks. They didn't flinch when they faced Boston. They didn't flinch when they faced Miami. They didn't flinch when they faced Philly last year. And they're not flinching now. I'm sorry. I'm I'm sorry. LeBron James going to Philly is a great story. Great story. It's a beautiful final chapter, that little cherry. But let's be honest. The Knicks still run the East. Jalen Brunson, you could argue, is the most dominant force. He is still the coldest closer. Mike Brown has the best culture. And New York still has the deepest roster. LeBron is 42, ladies and gentlemen. At 42, you know what you're going to see? Like 25 minutes per game, anywhere from 25 to 28. This ain't prime LeBron. The Knicks are still top dogs, and the road to the finals still goes through MSG. Bottom line, it still runs through MSG. So LeBron going to Philly is cute. Cool. Cool. Now we know where he went. The wait is over. But look, the man was actually even questioning if he wanted to continue to play. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. And now, since we have spoken enough about basketball, we're going to transition. We're going to transition, and we're going to talk some baseball. We're going to talk some baseball. I mean, um, yeah. So when you talk about baseball, you have to mention the streak that the Boston Red Sox was just on. They won 15 straight games. Um, the Red Sox didn't just save their season; they flipped the entire trade market upside down. Upside down. Boston surges back into the equation, has lowered the odds of Chapman being dealt. And that's huge because a lot of teams were looking at Boston as, oh, we're gonna take that team apart. We're gonna trade for all their pieces. So Aroldis Chapman went from top trade chip to untouchable closer overnight because Boston is suddenly a playoff threat. Same with Sonny Gray. I know that there were several teams into the Sonny Gray thing. Guess what? That's off the table. Same with Ranger Suarez. Same with their entire rotation. Boston 15-game winning streak didn't just change their season, it changed the deadline math for every contender. All those contenders are like, oh wait, wait, we pass me the dry eraser. Let's change the board because these Boston players, we can't depend on trading for them anymore. So the biggest names in the on the market, and how it affects Boston. Well, there's an article that it gives you Tarek Skubal, Aroldis Chapman, Luis Arias. Let's break it down. Tarek Skubal is the crown jewel of the deadline right now. He's the best pitcher in baseball right now. Detroit is hot. So this article says Detroit's recent hot streak makes it less certain Skubal will change teams. Boston winning makes Detroit's winning matter more because suddenly the AL wildcard race is crowded. Aroldis Chapman, Boston's closer, before the streak, he was gone. Gone. Like there was like he's out. We're gonna trade him and get some prospects for him. Now Boston surges back into the equation, has lowered the odds for Chapman being dealt. So it's created a problem. Boston run literally removed a top reliever from the market. Luis Arias of the San Francisco Giants is the contact king. And guess what? He is available. There's no way he will stay at San Francisco. He fits almost every contender. And the Red Sox need a second baseman. So is it possible that there's a Luis Arias to Boston? I believe it's very possible. In another article, it spoke about this situation and it said Luis Arias, one of the most coveted names on the market. Boston is now a buyer and Arias is a perfect fit. I wonder if that got leaked. The league is moving fast. Another article said the Pirates have been aggressive. No way. I don't listen, listen. I don't believe that. I've been watching baseball a long time, and one of the most disappointing franchise I have ever seen, franchise in any sport, has been the Pittsburgh Pirates. So to hear that an article said that the Pirates are aggressive, I would have. I mean, unless something changed, I don't know. But this is what the article says. One of the league's most prolific offensive evaluators believe they will be one of the most aggressive teams. Well, let's see. They might, and that they might go after Mason Miller. Well, that will be a blockbuster if they do. If somehow, if somehow Mason Miller ends up with the Pirates, out. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. If that was to happen, and they were to get a bat, a good bat, um, a la Pete Alonso type, there will be that will make some serious noise. Because let me tell you, that pitching of the Pirates, they in a playoff, if they're able to sneak in a playoff with having four guys actually, four, it will be four that throw over 100 miles an hour. Listen, no team in baseball would want to see that. Not the Dodgers, not the Braves, not anybody. So, are the Dodgers in or out on Scooble? Well, what do we know? We know that the Dodgers have the prospects. They have the rotation to make a little, a trade, and they have the ambition. How do we know this? Because we saw what they've done over the years. They basically have hired everybody. They've traded and signed everybody. In a LA article, it says it's easy for the Dodgers to talk themselves out of adding Scooble, but just as easy to talk themselves into it. Well, you know what? I have to agree with that because what the Dodgers have shown us is that they're willing to do everything and anything. So I wouldn't be surprised. The Cubs, they are going to be trying to get some pitching too. And when you think about it, all the teams are going to be thinking pitching, pitching, and more pitching. Um, that's just how it is. And you know what? One team that's going to be completely dismantled and it's going to look like a AAA team is going to be the Rockies. The Rockies are going to unload every player under 2 to 3 years of service time. For example, the Yankees are going hard after Hunter Goodman, the catcher. They've already sources say they have already called. You know, so I wouldn't be surprised. Um, then you have the White Sox. They also need pitching. They might go after Brady Singer. I think Brady Singer's with the Reds right now, and that would be a perfect fit. So, and then the Yankees have to try to get an outfielder also. The Yankees' production from that position has from the catching position has been the worst in the majors. Um, so who knows? The Angels are also another team that are open for business. I personally, I would like to see the Braves get a Joe Adele. That dude is dynamic. He's fast. He got a great arm. He could field. He could hit. I would love to see that. Um, so I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, and I would like to see the Braves get Soriano. That dude throws 98 to 100 as a starter. Sources say that all players in the Angels are available. That would be very interesting. But what about the Padres as a wild card team? Ownership is in transition. Preller would still like to buy, but they're right now they're like, they win one, they lose one. They're basically a 500 team, which is very surprising. But what are they gonna do? Are they gonna be buyers or gonna be sellers? I guess they'll probably wait to last minute to figure out what direction they're gonna take. And at the end of the day, how does all this tie into Boston? You know, Boston's streak didn't just change their season; it changed the whole AL playoff picture. Their odds increased from 9.4% a few weeks ago to 63.9%. That's a ridiculous switcheroo. That's a 54.5 point jump in 3 weeks. So you have Boston is a buyer, Detroit is a buyer, Pittsburgh's our buyer, the Pirates, right? Pittsburgh Pirates. The Dodgers are buyers. The Yankees are buyers. The Padres might buy. The Braves, Milwaukee, like you know, Cleveland, like you have all these teams that are buyers. So what does this mean? This basically means that the seller's market shrinks and prices go up. The prices for these players that are available from teams that are already out, listen, you're going to be paying a premium. You're going to be, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a situation where there's going to be some teams that are going to mess up big time. They're going to overtrade. They're going to try to get a guy and they're going to have to overpay. That's just what it comes down to. Because at the end of the day, these general managers, they're competitors, right? I mean, sometimes reason, could really betray you. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. Um, Today is the 24th, Friday the 24th. Wait until Monday. That's when pieces will start to fall. And the truth of the matter is that the National League is a war zone this year. Every contender has flaws. Every contender has urgency, and every contender is watching Detroit's schoolboy like a hawk. Um, so it's going to be very interesting. And this is how the playoff picture looks. In the NL, you have the Dodgers loaded deep and possibly adding Scooble. You have Milwaukee, pitching depth, elite bullpen. You have the Phillies, strong rotation. Well, sort of an elite defense. And, you have the Braves, talented but inconsistent, injuries and questions. And then in the wild card, you have the Cubs, Padres, um, and Pirates. They're right there. So it's gonna be very interesting. As a Braves fan, I have I feel like Alex is gonna do something. Atlanta is still one of the most talented teams in baseball, uh, and the standings they tell the truth. They're behind the Dodgers and Milwaukee, but they're not behind the Phillies, and they're fighting for positioning, not dominance. And the bigger issue is pitching depth, right? Bullpen volatility, inconsistent offense without Acuna, being at full strength. I mean, allegedly he was supposed to come today, and it rained, so it delayed his. So who knows what's gonna happen with Acuna, right? All we know is that he ain't gonna get no $500 million contract, and I am cool with that. Um, because I like going to games. I don't want to be priced out. But at the end of the day, the Braves aren't broken. But they're trying to be built to beat the Dodgers and the Brewers in a, let's say, 7 game series, as currently constructed. And at the end of the day, what do the Braves need to do at this trade deadline to put themselves in a position where it's like, I don't care who we're facing, bring it on. The Braves, they need a legit arm. So if it's trading for a power arm, it's more than welcome. Uh, they could trade for Brady Singer. He fits the bill. He's extremely likely to get moved. He's a perfect fit. mid rotation stabilizer, cheap and durable. Personally, I like Freddie Peralta from the Mets. High upside, strikeout machine. He's expensive, but he's worth it. The Mets could also trade Clay Holmes if they want bullpen help instead of a starter. Um, Robbie Ray is another one. The Braves don't need an ace; they already have that. They need a reliable three who can win a playoff game. They could also go in the route of, you know what, um, it's too expensive to try to get a starter, so let's just go out there and get a reliever. And the Padres, they have a few of those. They could go after Mason Miller. They could go, after the reliever that San Diego also have in Adrian Morejon, who's a cheaper option. They could go after the Rockies' Antonio Sensatella, um, or they could go against. They could go also and get Brennan Bernardino of the Rockies, who's a lefty. So that would be great too. Um, the Braves bullpen is good, but I'm not sure if they are October good. They might be missing one piece. Um, so I could see them adding a power arm. They also need a bat. They could go after Willie Castro from the Rockies. Jake McCarthy would be my bet. That guy could fly. I think he has two inside the park home runs this season. Or they might say, you know what, we're gonna add another catcher that's powerful and try to go after Hunter Goodman and basically try to trade. The Braves will try to, do a switcheroo. We give you our catcher, you give me yours, and something like that because we have like three or four catchers already. Uh, the Braves' deadline strategy is they're not going to stay pat. They're going to do something. And I don't think they could rely on internal improvements. They have to be aggressive and they have to be smart. That's just the bottom line. And the truth is, they don't need a Scooble level blockbuster, but they do need a mid rotation starter, a leverage reliever, a right handed bat, and they'll be elite. Um, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens uh, in the NL East. I believe the Braves could make some serious noise. Um, as of right now, the Dodgers are the team to beat, but I think that when you look at that team, their best players are older and they have gotten injured. So who's to say that before the playoffs, one of their players gets hurt for a while? And now that changes everything up. But talking about the American League, you have Boston. It flipped the AL. The trade deadline is about to explode. And the National League, you have the Atlanta Braves are the team standing at the crossroads. They're talented, they're dangerous, but they're not the complete team that right now you could say could eliminate everybody. They need bullpen help. They need a bat. The NL is basically a battlefield, and the Braves have 1 week to decide if they are soldiers or spectators. And we will see. I will be bringing you a pod when all these trades come in. So, mi gente, That's the breakdown for today. Walk with faith, move with purpose, and don't let anybody